All right.
Welcome to question of the week number 15.
Number 15.
1-5.
So this question.
It has to be read off my computer right over
Sorry.
there. So hold on. Yeah.
This question comes from person below me smells.
That's the username on this person has. Person below me smells
That sucks.
And the
from
question,
our YouTube.
And the question is, what do you think about the English punk bands?
The English punk bands. I hope we're talking about the same thing here. If we're talking about the English punk bands.
Okay, so who are the English punk bands?
Oh, the Sex Pistols.
Okay.
One of the first ones.
Clash.
The Clash. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Clash.
Can't forget about them. The Addicts. You could see my Addicts poster right up. Oh shit. Because this thing is opposite when we're filming. Right above there. Yeah.
You got the Buzzcocks, I think.
Ah, yes.
Buzzcocks.
What the hell are you doing?
What else we
I'm
got?
trying to think.
No, he's got to go back
Well,
there.
let's just say what we think about those guys.
You know what? I love the Addicts because still to this day they're around. You know what I mean? And it's most of the original members. For the longest time, it was still all the original members. I forgot when I first saw them. It was back in maybe 08, 09. And I saw them with the Misfits. They put on a fucking show. My own personal YouTube channel, I have a bunch of clips from when they played when I saw them last. I have to see them again though, because those clips were taken when I was with my ex-girlfriend, and I need a new experience to see them.
Yeah.
I
totally understand that.
Sex Pistols, Clash. Yeah, we mentioned. You know what? I have nothing bad to say. Yeah, like what fucking. GBH, hardcore band in the 80s, hardcore punk. They're really.
I'm trying to think of more like recent, I don't know.
I'm thinking of older ones because I think the
the
older ones are my favorite
It was
ones.
like the English.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, all those English oi bands like GBH and in the 80s, but like
my opinions on them. So, I don't. As far as punk bands go, I don't. Those aren't honestly, they're not my favorite. Like the Sex Pistols, aren't my favorite punk band. I think.
But you like them.
I think they're
You like
important.
them.
All right, I think they're very important for punk. I think there's this thing like
You do like them, right?
the Sex Pistols.
Yeah. I thought he liked them. Never mind.
I appreciate them. I
Okay,
appreciate them and I respect them, and I think they're important and obviously in punk because they are.
Sean the non-believer.
But do I I don't enjoy them as much as bands like like bands that started in New York in like the 70s, like the start early punk rock. I don't enjoy them as much as stuff like that. But I do acknowledge them. They're very important. I think that there is like sometimes this debate about where did punk rock start? Was it with the Clash and the Sex Pistols in England, or was it with the Ramones in New York City? I think that's all a bullshit argument because
personally,
who fucking cares?
Personally,
it started.
whatever.
All of those bands added to it.
The important thing
and
is
it became a monster, and it became something to love, right?
It's just,
but those are important bands. Those are important bands.
I mean, it's so funny because I was in Canada last week, and I was looking up bands that are from Canada, and there's like at least 10, 15 bands that I had no freaking idea were from Canada.
Alanis Morissette is all I can think of.
Alanis Morissette. I mean, I knew I know there's Sum 41 and Simple Plan.
Okay, Simple Plan, yeah.
And are from Canada. I knew there's this band Silverstein. I knew they were from Canada. But looking up, it can really open your eyes. That's what I'm saying. I'm struggling with trying to find other than what Kenny said, some other bands.
Because you like those bands too. That's why.
Well,
I just got to say it first.
The point that I'm trying to make is that I don't go out unless somebody has an accent or if they they're right in your face. Oh, we're from from England or we're from Canada or whatever. What do you call? I don't really pay any attention to where someone's from. If I like the music, I like the music.
Yeah.
Sex Pistols, they were revolutionary in the punk scene. So was the Clash, and the Addicts, like you said, they're still around, they're still going. Good for them. There's all these bands that and like Zach said, it doesn't make a difference who started it, where it came from. I'm just happy they all exist. So we can listen to them and we can be influenced by them and play music that's kind of similar to them.
But one punk band from like we mentioned before, the Buzzcocks. I do.
Buzzcocks.
I love them so much. Actually, I'm starting thinking about like.
What
older
do I
Buzzcocks.
get?
And I think one of my favorite songs, like not just from them, but like probably like ever, one of my favorite punk songs ever, is "Ever Fallen in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Fall in
It's a
Love
great
with."
fucking
That's
song.
like such a good.
I think that was like
song,
the first
man.
song I ever heard from them.
remember. I think it's
Because it's just like everyone does that shit.
I remember it's
Everyone fucking falls in love with someone that's stupid
Yeah.
to fall in love with, and you get your heart broken, or
What
you.
the hell? It's Tony.
Fuck, it's
Tony
dumb.
Hawk. It's Tony Hawk Pro Skater in general. All the fucking games. They
All
have
great
the
music.
best soundtrack. But I remember specifically
I love that song. dude.
American Wasteland. I don't know.
I didn't even hear what you
I
said.
don't know if it's American Wasteland or if it's I don't know. There's some other thing. And it's one of the games. They had this whole. They made like a soundtrack, and it was basically more newer bands like Fall Out Boy and Rise Against and stuff like that that covered songs, like older punk rock songs. And one of those was I think it was Alkaline Trio. I'm not sure. I forget exactly who covered it, but they did Ever Fall in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Have, and I thought it was amazing. I was like, this is freaking awesome that
Love
they're
that
covering the Buzzcocks, and they're doing it like for a soundtrack for Tony Hawk. Like I thought that was great. Those games always had the best soundtracks, and this just like made me have an even bigger love for it. That they were just did a whole album of covers.
Another is English punk band I love is Sham 69. You guys know Sham
Oh
69?
yes.
And one of the great songs is Who Gives a Damn. Great song. So we got them.
They're like on the oi side too. You know?
Yeah.
Like.
Who else we got? I'm trying to think.
Well, this is another subject where we could go on and on.
But yeah,
about,
we go
you know
on
what I
forever,
mean?
man. I can go on
It's-
forever.
It's like Justin said. The truth is, when we hear a band we like, we're not so much concerned about where you're from.
Yeah.
It's cool that you're from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not.
Like rep where you're from. That's awesome.
but it's
man.
not. We're not right away like. Where are they from? Like, wait
Like-
a minute. Like, that's
like-
going to make a difference if we like them or
You know,
not.
I remember reading an article in AP magazine years ago, and it said it was talking about Under Oath, which they're such a great band. But what do you call it? Someone was saying it was somebody writing an article saying that their image turned some people off to them, and I was like, fuck cares what these people look like, you know? I personally don't think they look bad. And be like, who cares what they look like? Who cares where they come from? Who cares what they do? You know, if you like the music, you like the music. You know, like that's all it comes down to. You know, like that's how I feel. Like if I hear a band and I'm like, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, oh, where are these guys from? Oh, they're from South Carolina. Well, I don't like them anymore. No, I don't care where you're from. I don't care. I like your music. I like your music. That's it. You know, so like I'm having a little hard time, like I said, struggling thinking of some more bands that are like classified as English punk, but
I'm glad you mentioned Sham 69. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I could, just off the top of my head.
yeah, it's always, these are all good bands.
Hersham Boys. But whether it's English punk bands or just English bands and music in general, we like what we like, and where you're from doesn't really make a difference. And
Get what you get and you don't get upset.
and if we don't like you, it has nothing to do with where you're from. That's just if
You're just
we
a
don't
dick.
like it.
Yeah. If they don't like you, there's something wrong with you. No, just
It works both ways.
yeah. I mean,
So
All right.
I'm assuming you're from England. Maybe that's why you're asking.
man,
Perfect.
that's your favorite type of punk.
Or maybe you just like the accent.
That's really cool. You know, like we said, we have a lot of respect for all of these bands.
Or maybe you're just an asshole who only likes bands from England.
They
Nah,
are.
that's-
You know, it's funny.
like what you like. Like what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like there's so many bands there's bands that they're like universally renowned, like the Beatles, or the Who, or Led Zeppelin, like bands like that. The Who and the Beatles are both from England, but
Not punk, but
they are. And you know what? You know how many people say like, oh, like I hear people that say that they don't like them, or I hear people that do love them, that are big fans. Like, how could you not like the Beatles? They were so revolutionary. I mean, that's totally fine if you don't like them, but you gotta respect all these bands.
Well, that's what I was saying about the
Because-
Sex Pistols.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
respect it. Like, even if you don't like it, you have to respect it, because how do you like half the bands that you like might not have even existed if one of the bands that you don't like it didn't exist. You know, so you never know. I have a lot of respect for bands that I'm not into, but it's all preferences. Yeah, shun the non-believer.
I don't know why I did that.
That's fine.
I'm
But
back.
Person Below Me Smells. You have a great YouTube.
You
video.
guys both smell.
We
it.
love you.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, and for the rest of you out there, ask some shit.
Keep it coming, please. I need more questions to read,
Love you.
please. And we are out.
I love you.